The connotations of selflessness, unselfishness, and non-attachment. Siefing. Selflessness. There is inherently no self in the universe. Everything is merely a manifestation of the consciousness of the greatest creator. In a computer game, there are countless characters, and those characters believe they have a self, but in reality, they are just manifestations of the game designer's consciousness. 100 years ago, I did not exist. 100 years from now, I will not exist either. The so-called self is just an illusion and delusion of human perception. With the notion of self, one becomes deeply entangled in the roles and plots designed by the game designer. Without the notion of self, one transcends these roles and simply plays along with circumstances and destiny. Who is the self? One cannot decide one's own birth, nor can one determine one's departure. One cannot correct yesterday's mistakes or predict tomorrow's events. We can't even grow an eye on the back of our head or control our tears when cutting onions. So, where's the self? Who am I? Looking down on the world, who is troubled, suffering, anxious, or worried, who argues, attacks, fights, or schemes against others, who dances on waves or sobs in prison, who shines on the red carpet or wanders in the bitter rain. It is the self. Because everyone has a self, the world is formed. Due to the absence of self, paradise appears. Unselfishness. There is inherently no selfishness in the universe. Form is emptiness, and everything we see is illusory. Under the wide heaven, all is the king's land. Within the sea boundaries of the land, all are the king's servants. This king is not a human king, but the creator of all things in heaven and earth. What is mine, yours, or his? People don't even know their own life trajectories and can't control their lives, let alone grasp external things. Which emperor can hold onto his kingdom firmly? Which billionaire can take his wealth with him? Day in and day out, earning money in the wind and rain is absurd. In the end, it's all for someone else. Looking down on the world, observe the people around you. Who lives the hardest life? Those with the heaviest selfishness live the hardest. Who is the most troublesome? Those with the heaviest selfishness are the most troublesome. Who is the most heartless? Those with the heaviest selfishness are the most heartless. Who is the most insidious and cunning? Those with the heaviest selfishness are the most insidious and cunning. Hell is overcrowded because people's selfishness is too heavy. How do you feel working and living with selfless people? Does it feel like living in heaven? Why? Because heaven is composed of selfless people. Do you still dare to be selfish? Non-attachment. The universe inherently has no words, mountains and rivers inherently have no attachment, and all things transform according to their own nature and find their own peace. Cabbages and radishes each have their own beauty, and there are no identical things in the world. Each person has their own face, each person has their own heart, each has their own path, and each has their own destination. Let those who love bread eat bread, and let those who love beer drink beer. Do not interfere, do not force. See everything is pleasing, hear everything is reasonable. This is non-attachment. Who can turn a cabbage into a radish? Who can turn a cat into a dog? It is impossible. If you think you are right, that is fine. But making others pee or cook according to your idea of rightness is attachment. In a group, whoever is responsible or bears the responsibility should have the final say. If you insist on making the person in charge listen to you, that is self-attachment. Always wanting to correct others or make others act according to your intentions is self-attachment. Worldly people and mortals can never see eye to eye. Mortals and virtuous people can never understand each other. Virtuous people and celestial beings can never reach any agreement. There are always higher mountains and greater heavens. If you value interests, you are a worldly person. If you value feelings, you are a mortal. If you value logic, you are a virtuous person. If you value spirituality, you are a celestial being. First, clarify your own coordinate system and point, and you will get along with everyone peacefully. If a worldly person wants to correct a mortal wants to correct a virtuous person, and a virtuous person wants to correct a celestial being, It is like a hen trying to teach a phoenix how to fly, ignorant of the heights of the heavens and the depths of the earth. Without attachment, the world is peaceful and life is satisfactory. With attachment, storms arise and chaos ensues.